Well, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or evening for wherever you are in your world joining us today. So, restarted my computer and getting everything coming up right now. Let's see. We're gonna be doing, so what you could see from the title is we're gonna be looking at, I found some old challenges and they're really kind of cool. So it's capitalizing certain letters and the way that I went about it. And also we're going to start tiptoeing our toes around with, and I got to resize everything. So bear with me. And nope. I'm going to get the screen because it's weird. Screen looks good until lighting is very interesting to me. It looks fine, and you think it looks good, but adding the microphone, adding this black reflective in front of this changes the lighting. So when I set all this up, I set it up without the microphone in front of me, and that was a poor decision. And there we go. And there we go. So I will give you guys, you can probably try to find the platform that I found these on. It's a very interesting, and then the Roman numerals. Did I do? Yeah. All right, we'll go back and look at that. We'll copy all this, get this out of the way, and then we'll go through what I did. And cut. Move it over onto the other one. And don't know what that is from how long ago. Oh my God, that thing is old. There we go. And save as where? Save as. Hope everyone is doing well. Do I already have a temp over here? Call it coding challenge. All right, let's see. So the premise of this one example that was really hanging me up was, if you have, of course, you're used to seeing the hello world. Well, let's get it all lowercase. Hello world. And what you need to convert this to is this. And we'll do this. And then hello world. Now where it gets really weird is you might go, okay, well, I'm just going to use the capitalization or title. So if you're new here, thanks for joining us. What we've been doing for a while now is been doing some live streams of really kind of solving problems, solving puzzles, really engaging automation, engaging algorithmic design. How do you identify? And I go back to, how would you explain what an even number is? How would you explain what an odd number is to a 5-year-old? Because if you can do that, you can program anything. I had somebody on Discord the other day. Actually, it was yesterday. They said they were a full stack JavaScript developer and they wanted to learn Python. What should they do? And I was like, just go to any of the coding challenge platforms and just start solving any of those problems. And Because if you can already program, your brain is already into, I need to do this and set up a certain set of instructions to then do this, to then do this, to then do this. I love the the 9 dot problem, three columns of 3 dots. And I say, how can you walk up and back all these dots? Because it's very, very, very close to and similar to iterating through a list or a string, a sequence. There we go. So a sequence, string or an array, can you iterate through, or a list or a set or a tuple, anything that you can iterate through. So what happened was, as I was doing this challenge, I was going through and I realized that the built-in items for string were not going to work, and it was designed that way. Everyone, I am live. There we go. And yes, that annoys me that Discord still asks that. Let me get my speakers on. Do not have that on. Nico's not here yet to help me go through my checklist. So, if we were to, let's put this in here. So I bring this into, do I have everything else covered? Nope, I do not. That's a lot of stuff still in here. Yeah. All right, let's just run this. Put this into memory. So X. So what can I do to X? Dir on X. Split it. Title is title. Strip. Title. Wait a minute. What does title do? Let's see. Let's do help dot X dot title. Let's see. Return a version. So return. So that's one thing. We're version of the string where each word is title cased. All right. So let's do X dot title. All right. Cool. So now maybe this is it. Well, what happens? What happens if we do this? So print X dot title. All right, so that catches that. But now, let's change it to, because we're also going to start talking, but it's a weak area of mine, about, let's see, what was the one that really threw me for a loop? I think it was this, maybe a number. Let me see. Let me go back and check my notes. You heading out? Yeah. All right, have a great day. If you need anything, call me. Yeah, it was 1WGR. No, 2R, then 3G. So if I run this, then we have a problem where this G is capitalized. And in our situation, we do not want this G capitalized because it begins with a 3. So we're going to have to build our own. Let's check coloring. All right. And let's go back. All right. And so we have an issue here. So what time complexity? We're going to begin. Now, I'm not a time complexity optimization, however you want to say. What is it costing for compute? And in these teeny tiny examples, it isn't noticeable. But when you begin to talk about millions of something or billions of something, especially if, like, researchers, I had met a researcher. He is a biophysicist, and he said the data that they create is like 15 million rows of data an hour. He said it's just unbelievably enormous, the amount of data that they produce. And they spend so much time and energy trying to go through it and figure out what all it is. So now, so O of n, or linear, because what you really don't want to do is go through this thing multiple times. So the way that I began to look at this is all right, so I need to go through my sequence and basically come up with a set of rules. So what is this rule to get this to look like this? And that's Vinky. How are you doing? We're kind of going through some coding. I found some more coding challenges, and these are some good ones. This one is capitalizing letters in a certain scenario. So the one that the really ultimate test here, edge case, is an example like this, and I'm about to show what the output is supposed to be. W2R G3. This is what the output is supposed to look like. Let me do. All right, there we go. Yep. That's what you would think, but I believe capitalize also fails on this. Because I think I tried that one too. So let's see. So if we do title, we accidentally get the G. If we do capitalize, we miss the W and the R. So the next thing is iterating through. It's linear. It's O of n. So the longer it is, the longer it's going to take. So it's not. We can't get it faster than that, but we can at least go through and design each of these. So now what came to me was it's completely legal for us to iterate through. We're not costing anymore. We're not going through each letter more than once if we just move through each letter and create a temp. So this is what came to me. Now, I'm not saying that this is the fastest way, but it works. But I want you to, so if you're trying to do all three, if you're trying to learn problem solving or algorithmic design and learn Python and learn optimization, time complexity, you're going to want to shoot yourself in the face. So try to just do two of them, get really good at both of those, and then go back and work on time complexity or improving your speed. So we're just going to go to print temp. Now we need to set up some rules. So let's this is what I did as I tested. Will it change if I try to change this? Oop. Does anything happen? Will it fail? Will it fail if the last digit, or if I try to uppercase a digit? Okay, so it won't crash, so I'm good. And let's try what happens if I do upper on a blank space. Okay, we're good so far. So basically so the way that I look at this is I need this to be uppercase if the previous space or the last one in temp was a space. Anything else, it just gets added. So does that make sense? Does everybody know? So if I'm right here and I'm building this as I'm typing it. So one, it's a blank space. Now, Then my next letter is W, and I look. Is the previous one a blank space? Yes, I make it upper. All right, then I have a space, then I have a 2, then I have a space, then I have an R. All right, am I going to make this upper or lowercase? Well, the last space, the last character was a blank space, so I can make this upper. All right, now I have a 3. Now my next character is a G. Is my previous character a blank space? No. So if it's not a blank space, it stays lower. All right, so we had 2 possibilities. So now here we go. For I in X. All right, so if so we need to do this. Let's close this out. So now okay, so we are going to have an issue where it's blank. So we have two instances where the previous one, but what do we do when it's blank? When it's empty, when it's an empty string. So let's see. If or blank. Let's see. Can we add this? If temp, if len, let's just try this. If len temp equal to 0, or temp, we wanted to look at the last one in temp, right? Is alpha. I guess I don't know. Alphanumeric. Okay. Well, but that would be the else. So, Vinky, I like where you're going with that, but hang on. I don't think, because we want to, if it's the first one, we want to capitalize. So I think that would be the else. So I'm trying to combine some decisions here. Or if the negative one is the last one is blank, then we do temp increment I dot upper. All right, let's try this. See what happens. All right. So that's not working. So we only have one. We only have one scenario. Because it should be. All right, let's do else. Else temp I. Let's see what we get here. Okay, we'll kind of fell backwards into this. Temp is empty. Yes. When we start. So let's kind of go through what I did here. Don't really know why this first one went through, because I would have expected. Well, all right. So let's go through this really, really slow, because I liked the is alpha, because if you haven't seen is alpha, but that would have been, if I'm thinking about this right. So x is, yeah, x help x dot is alpha. All right. Return true if the string is an alphanumeric string, false if otherwise. So, okay, x dot is alpha. False. All right, hang on. I'm getting some. Sorry, my wife's texting me. Hang on. Oh, hey, Alex, how are you? And hi to you. Hope you're doing well. Haven't seen you in a few days. That's awesome. I really like that we're kind of building a community here. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Sorry, my wife's having a little bit of an issue at work. Hope everybody's doing well. Give me 1 second. We had some drama around here, and I had to call her, but then she said she didn't answer because she was having some issues. We can use temp 2 in the 4. Temp -2. All right, Alex, why would we use the... Hang on, everybody. Sorry about this. Is making upper the space. Oh, but Alex, we did look at that before. We were looking to see if it would fail or do anything. So basically what we did is we went through and we tested on a digit and we tested on an empty space and we didn't have any issues. Yep. Sorry, somebody was trying to get into her work that didn't have their access code or their access pass, and they were giving her a hard time because they didn't have theirs and she had hers and she wasn't going to let them in. All right. So basically what we wanted to do, and these are these buckets of decisions that I'm talking about. So we tested on a blank space, comes back blank. We tested on a digit, comes back as digit. So the premise is in this coding challenge on a platform that I went through and found in my notes that I had done a while back, is that they found a scenario that would break the rules of title because they want you to problem solve. They don't want you to use, because when you get into the real world, you're going to have problems that are going to be akin or similar to what you want, but you're going to have to augment this just slightly. So this example, so right here, that falls under perfect bucket. Even these extra spaces, it passes. So then it even took into account, so I remember I went back and found my notes. I tried separate, I tried then join, then I'd have to count, and I was like, well, wait a second, I can just iterate through this. Now it's not faster than linear, and then this doesn't pass title or capitalization because it will not capitalize the correct ones. So here in this combination, I need these two capitalized and this one not. So what we did is, I want you to think about this. So the very first time through. So this is why we use the OR. And the reason why we're doing the -1 is we're looking back at our last space. So Alex, I don't know when you joined, so if I'm redundant here, I apologize. So as we're going through, so we're basically taking this and we're going to add it here to temp, and we're going to look and set up some rules. So right now it's an empty string. If is alpha upper, yes, but then got it. So yeah, the G needs to be lowercase. So no, it's not. It's a certain situation. So if this would be world here and real, because right now, if I were to do this and we do is it an alpha and then we make it upper, this would capitalize. This would make all these upper. So what we're doing is if it's the first letter of the word or a character, capitalize it. Because if we looked at hello world, if this is a alpha or a number, do upper, but then ELLO would also be bingo, upper. Yeah. So what we're doing, the algorithm right here is if it is a blank space, the next character, the last one, so we're going to go through here. We're going to go back and put this back. So I'll try to visualize this as much as I can. So all right. So we do one. We can throw upper on one and it won't worry about anything. So then I have a space. So I'm right here. So now I add the space. So now my next letter is a W. All right. So now do I make this upper or lower? Well, there's a space in front of it, so I make it upper. All right. Then I have a space. Don't do anything to it. Then I have a 2. Now I have an R. Now we have to make a decision. Is the space before it a blank? And so it falls under this bucket. So this is why I did it like this. So we could do it like this. Here we go. And this is what I want to show you, where we can kind of combine these things. And I was studying this about, we're throwing up, because I'm going to show you combining for a little bit of time complexity savings. All right. So if we do, so we basically have these two scenarios. So if you look really, really close, so if it's the first, if temp is empty, so if it is the first letter, we're of course going to make it upper. All right. Then if the next letter, if the previous letter is a blank, let me see if I can highlight. There we go. If the previous letter is a blank, then it will become capital. So if you look really close, let's see if we can, will that highlight both of them? No. Let's do this. So if you look really close, these two are the exact same. So this is where a little bit of cost savings, time complexity savings. We can save some compute, because we can put this, because since this is the same output and these two scenarios are not dependent on each other, it can be either one. We can put this together. If you have an or, you can't have an elif. There we go. So that's why why I put these two on the same line. Let's see, what do I have? A problem? What is it saying? Invalid syntax. Oh, can't have an end and have more code. So there we go. So now here's where, so I'm going through, then I do my R because my previous character is a blank space. I'm looking backwards one. Now my R, blank space, do capital on it, doesn't matter. And so the reason why we can do capital on a blank space, so if we had multiple, so if I made this 2 blank spaces or 15, it wouldn't matter. So it's just looking. Now we get to, so we had our 3. Now here's where this gets, where this decision happens. So now I'm at 3. I'm looking at G. I'm looking at, why can't I highlight G? All right, looking at G right here. Now I'm going to look back at my previous character because I'm checking, is len of temp, is it 0? No. Is the last character that we just looked at, so we're using temp so we don't have to go back and index and point backwards at, keep up with our counter and increment through here. We're just going to look at the last character, and the last character, it was a 3. So the last character is a 3. Is it blank? No. Is len 0? No. So it just gets added. Boom, just like that. And that is how this algorithm is designed. And it passes, and it is just linear. I couldn't figure out how to make this any faster. That is not my area of expertise. Maybe that is an area I will be focused on. Now, this next one, I did learn a lot, and I was able to speed it up quite a bit. And I was a little shocked by the techniques to do it. So any questions going into, Alex, I know, did we talk about, did you get a good answer of why temp, not -2? Because it'd be looking back 2 spaces. The last, not the last one, but the second to last. Did that answer your question? Venki, does that make sense to you? Let's make sure. Whoa, that's kind of cool. Sorry, applied for a job last night, and it sounds very, very cool. And I'm very, hey Dax, how are you doing? We're going through some algorithmic design today, doing some very cool coding challenges that I found. So premise is can't use, so you're given some very interesting strings here, and capitalize the first letter, and could have a bunch of spaces, or a scenario like this where you wouldn't capitalize because if you say if it's a letter, then you're going to have a false positive. You're going to have a negative. You won't have a false positive because it could begin with a numeral, with a digit, let me say, because it's inside a string. So we came up with a very elegant and cool algorithm to solve that right here. Now the next one we're going to do is we're going to look at Roman numerals. So I had to refresh myself on rules of Roman numerals, and I would have to say that I never really knew it. So that actually, I got it to work. I got it to work years ago, but I didn't really remember how I got it to work. I think I fell backwards into it. So, because had a comment come up from somebody who joined Discord yesterday, and yeah, when did? Let me see. Remember. I thought there was a way to see how long they'd been a member of the server. There probably is a very fast way. I haven't seen Jan on this morning. Okay. I don't even think Nico's here yet. But we got a good crew this morning. So all right. So Roman numerals. Let's talk about Roman numerals. So is everybody familiar with Roman numerals? And the reason, the complexity and the challenge with Roman numerals is, yeah, you can write down numbers, but when you start to attempt to do arithmetic, that's where our Arabic numbers base 10 come from, because then you could actually do math. If I remember my math history, that is actually why the Arab numbers were invented, was to enable some mathematics. So, all right, let's kind of go into, if you have any questions about this, we can circle back to it. All right, Roman numerals. Let's see if I can spell Roman numerals. Feel good about that. All right, so of course there's going to be some awful ones that we're going to need to test. So here they are. So I'm going to give a brief highlight of Roman numerals. And then we'll just go from here, and I will give. This will become easier because you're going to need to see what the values are. So in this instance, where I was referencing, so the first thing that came to mind was I was going to need to turn this into a dictionary. And you might say, why a dictionary? Well, we're going to need to reference something. So first I was starting to look at it, and I was like, ooh, I will just say if this, do this value. Well, wait a second. So I'm going to need to create a variable, then test to see if the string, the substring in the string, then do this variable. And I was like, well, wait a second. I could just take the variable, pass it in to a dictionary, and get the integer. So that's what I did. So here's the key and the tool that I began to use. And this is a perfect example of using tools, understanding Python well enough. So this is a touch of Python lesson, what tool to use to solve this problem. So an I is worth 1, a V is worth 5, a X is worth 10, an L 50. These I do not have these committed to memory. A C is 100, a D is 500, and M is 1,000. I have no idea if it goes up any higher than that. I don't think it does, but we'll go from here. Now, here's the caveat of Roman numerals, where this algorithmic design is very challenging. If they are 4 Roman numerals can be combined to create a number if they are in descending order. Now, this is where it gets fun. You then do subtraction if a smaller Roman numeral is in front of a larger Roman numeral. So to get 9, so you cannot have 4 characters. You can't do V, I. That is not 9. You have to then take an I and subtract 1 from 10 to get 9. So this challenge, this algorithmic design is very interesting. But once you think about it, it becomes very simplistic. So this design is I was a little hesitant to share with you and give you this answer because you're going to see it and it's going to make sense, but not having it be a part of you to solve and making it into your world, it I'm stealing a little bit from you, but I want to show you best practices of how to go about building things. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, how long have we been on already? Oh, we've already been on 41 minutes. Okay, this is going to take a while. So we will definitely be able to get to an hour. And I'm going to kind of show you where I started, and then I'm going to show you how I made it much simpler. So I went round and round with, because I actually changed this a couple of times. I went from a digit to a string back to a digit. So you might say, why would you do a string right here? Because one of my iterations of building this is I was going to use the evaluate function. So I will save you a little bit of trouble, because I think I saw somebody do this with regular, and we need to look really close at something. And I want to show you also, so here's a little bit of Python, and then I'm going to show you a little bit more Python. So check this out. All right. So this is a completely legal statement. Makes sense. I'm taking a so this is actually what I like to refer to it as redundant. All right. Now, check this out. A little redundant. That is also completely legal, and I'll show you how in the world this is legal. So basically, you have a positive. Think about it as if you're wrapping. Let's do some math, some old child school math right here. So I'm taking something that was a positive number, putting it in parentheses, and I get 5. So you can pass that negative number to your positive number. Now, same thing with this. All right, so a negative. So now I want to let that sink in. Let that sink in for a minute. Sorry. Ow. There we go. All right. Let that sink in for just a second. Negative. Two negatives make a positive. Not in real world, but in Python and in math. So this is completely legal. So I'm going to tell you how I went about this. Is my first iteration through, I go, all right, I'm going to take a number, I'm going to put it in my, I called it math, and I would then add the number, then add a number after it, but if it happened to be negative, then I'd do this, and then I'd go here, and then I would do print eval on math. Actually, don't need all of that. This is fine right here. Now, we need to also talk about utilizing keys in a dictionary. So let's do some building blocks here. Let's get rid of this. But we are going to leave it there for reference. For ins, then print. So we have D. Oh, I didn't highlight everything. All right. So now let's do, so D is a dictionary, right? And then this is how you call items in a dictionary, just like so. Now, if I'm going to iterate through this string, so check this out. So let's use this as our point of reference. D, I. I know this looks super weird, but if you let this sink in and you begin to just look at this as what does this refer to? Don't look at it as a variable. What is it referring to? What is it pointing to? What is it? Where is it telling you to go look? All right, so if S is this string right here, then I is a temporary variable going through, happens to be this one right here. So then this is my string, and I have corresponding strings inside of this dictionary, and this is how I use my key value pair. So now when I do this, I get, oh, wait a second. So now I've quickly gone from information to math. Now, like I said, my first time through here was integers. My second time through here, I used strings, and then I was like, okay, let me see if I can clean this up and go back and make this strings. So now let's work on. Let's start slow and let's just do this one. Let's do 3. Let's just get something working. All right. So we have total. Total equals 0. So I'll save you the trouble of all the iterations of what I did. And what I found is for the most efficient here is to just do this as math. And then we just need to figure out what we need to do with these. So again, so we have these this is a number. Don't let this fool you. Remember what it refers to. D is a dictionary. I is the key, and then we're going to get a number out. So this represents a number. So, okay, wait a second. So, increment, copy, paste, comment. And boom. And I did not print total. Roman numerals. Bingo. All right. 3. So this works. Now let's see what happens with this one, because we're going to get really dicey here really fast. Okay. 8. Now we know we're going to have a problem here. Right? 11. Okay. So we have to have an issue right here. Comment this out. Run this. So basically so this one, now don't forget, so this is my design right here. Don't make yourself think, don't get stuck in linear. All right? See how that's the same? So I'm not subtracting. Yes, I am subtracting 1, but I'm making it a negative 1. I'm starting in the hole. It's a negative 1 because it is a leading. Hang on. Hey, Nico, no problem. Oh my goodness. been there, done that, Nico. I know that feeling. All right, did I move something? I felt like I saw the plus. All right, Nico. So just give you a heads up. What we did is we did a very cool uppercase problem with capitalization. And we walked through and we made some, what we're kind of tiptoeing around is optimization and saving time complexity. So what we did here for just a moment is we noticed that these two examples had the same output, so we combined them. So if it was this scenario or this scenario, capitalize it. Otherwise, just add it to the string. And if you look really close, we were looking backwards at the previous, we were iterating through and adding it to a temporary variable. So now what we're doing a super cool Roman numeral exercise where we're writing an algorithm to basically read Roman numerals and output what the number is. And we're doing we're having to tiptoe around some rules in Python. So kind of handed this to you guys that this would be the best technique to use, the most efficient, where you're not iterating through and looking at values. So I kind of gave you this one. Then the other one, like we're looking at line 470. And if your human brain is like mine, you'd be like, oh, well, I need to subtract 1 from X. Well, that would mean I would have to rearrange my entire formula. But this is also legal in Python. And this is how we would do it with Python and a for loop and iterating through. So now we need to design rules for this to happen. Because, so now why are we subtracting 1? I did speak about this. So Nico, if you happen to not know Roman numerals, I, V, X, L, C, D, M. You can only use up to 4 for a number. So like 9, it's IX. So I'm subtracting 1. So I is a -1, X is 10. Add them together, I get 9. So now, the reason why I also like these two, and I'm putting these two together, because if we think about this technique, it's no different. So as I go through here, I'm going to need to look at my next. So it's a little different. I'm not going to be looking here. I'm going to be looking at my next one. So we're going to need to turn this into an index. So check this out. So right now S is what? Hang on. Oh, S. Bingo. All right. So check this out. All right. So I'm going to turn length L. We'll just do length L. Len S. L is 2. S is IX. So my first time through, S0 is I, right? So now this is where this gets super crazy. Let me show you this. This is completely legal. I know this looks so weird. I know it. Just bear with me. 1. Since this is something and it's a string, and this string is inside our dictionary, I can use a key, my key of I, to find out the number. Now, I'll tell you why I had to convert back to the string is because I found a bug in my original. So I was making this. I was doing this, Nico. I think you just joined. I was going to use the eval, and I was going to build this as a string because I thought it was going to be faster with time complexity because I've been trying to spread my wings and work on that. And then I ran into a problem where I think this is less than this, if I remember. Yeah. So that is where, and it took me a while to figure this out. So since 1 is lower, the trailing zeros is is not working. So I changed the values all back to numbers because just to save you depending on how you were going to solve this. So now we're going to reference this right here. So if the next number is larger, I need to actually make this go in to my total as a negative. If it's, rephrase. If the next character is smaller than the previous, you add it. If the character is smaller than the next, you subtract it. Does that make sense? So we have, let's do S. Let's do this one right here. We're going to go real slow with this. So 5. Is 5 greater or less than 1? It's greater. So it goes in as 5. Then the next digit is 1. And is its next one, is it less than? Nope. Is the next one greater than? That's the rule. No. So 1 plus 1 plus 1. That's where I get 5. Now let's look at this one right here. Okay. Bring this up here so it's mid-screen. I think everything's still good. Yeah, it's not bad. All right. So I is 1. Is its next character, is it greater than? Yes, it is. So I needs to go in as 1. Then we look at X. Is X, is the next character, oh, wait a second, it's at the end. So we're going to need to handle that a certain way. So there we go. And we'll deal with all of this. If we get this right, all these get handled correctly. So, all right, let's start building. Everybody, does anybody have any questions so far? Because I know this can be a lot, and it's going to get to be a lot pretty quickly. But you can see we can optimize this pretty quickly. And I was a little surprised. I went back and checked the platform on this, and this is an easy one. I was like, oh, good God. If I have to do a technical interview, I don't know if I'll ever pass it. Dax, I don't know if you're still here. Did you ever have to do a technical interview? Because I am a little concerned, because that's kind of why I'm doing these coding challenges, is if I end up getting a technical interview, I want to have the practice of talking out loud and talking through, because I've heard you did. Okay. Was it freaky? How many people were in the room, and did you get to write pseudocode, or did you actually have to code it on a whiteboard and write it out, or did you have to do it on a laptop? Because that's what I've heard horror stories about it. But if you can write the pseudocode, solved a problem, whiteboard or on a laptop or workstation. Submitted. Okay. Got it. All right. How crazy off the wall was it? Was it something that, like, here, that's not my question. Have you had to solve a problem similar to that, or was it something like this to just see how you think through things, and can you optimize? Were they more interested in, did you ever get feedback, were they more interested in on the solve, or were they worried about time complexity and optimization? Very curious about that. All right, so we need to handle something, and we need to think about this. We need to think, So we're going to do, I'm sure you guys remember this. And then range len s. And then, well, for I in range len s. I think he responded. Crazy question, but I'm really good with Power BI. And a true problem. Okay. Well, that is awesome. Oh, really? Okay. Well, that is very cool. All right. Yeah. Well, I guess I have to get an interview first. So, submitted for something last night for a big chain, coffee chain in the U.S. I'm sure you can guess. For senior manager, marketing, data analyst. Like the job title was like crazy close to my old one. All right. So we need to think about this because aren't you crazy good with SQL? Getting there. If I get rattled on the problem, if I know the data set and it takes me a little bit of time to get the data set, but if I swim around with the data and really understand how the data is working, then absolutely. But if I'm like given this data set, hey, how would you solve this? No. But if I have time to just understand what the data is, and I to give you an idea, one of my last problems at work was working with a business partner, and this was their thing, dealing with documents from suppliers. I mean, it's argued that he created it at Walmart. So, I mean, he knew everything about it, the process, but he didn't know the data. And especially we just changed to a new data source. And it only took me and a coworker probably about a day, and we knew the data more than him, and we were able to clean up his pseudo logic more than he had so many flaws and gaps in the logic. So yes, I'm good with SQL, but it is more dependent on how well do I know the data. Kill me. Thanks for the insight. We'll start with some baby steps. Reading some Discord that came through. But yeah, crazy good with SQL. Now, my boss, yeah, he could write some stuff. But yeah. So just want to try to get interviewed. I'm going to reach out to the hiring manager. Actually, no, it's the manager that I would work for. And I've heard some stories that if you reach out to them directly on LinkedIn, you have a greater chance of connecting because they like that, which I would too. If because I've actually thought about maybe management of data analysts. I think I could do that, but I haven't seen very many roles for that though. All right. It has a touch of marketing. I'm a little worried about marketing, but data is data to me. If you tell me how things react, I can follow along. I did some really awesome and interesting analysis back in the warehouse with human behavior. That was really cool. Didn't know I was doing data analysis while I was back at the building. Tracked human behavior and cut down on damages and improved accuracy just with this one little technical change of behavior. It's really, really interesting. Humans are really interesting. All right. I digress. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to roll through and vent like that. All right. So back to our dilemma. So the endpoints. You're always going to run into a problem with the endpoint, the beginning and the end. So you always have to take care for this. And you might say, why? Well, so we saw in our last example that we need to check the beginning Basically, we're checking the beginning and the end right here if you think about it. All right. So I'll give you a little hint of what I noticed here. The last number will always be added. So that's kind of your hint. It took me a minute to realize that. I went back and looked at notes. I was like, wait a second. It's always, the last number is always added. Always added. So we can take that into account and go from there. So now you need your data stories and how you solve the problems. Human and data, I understand you are returning to the Python. I understand you are returning to the Python example now. Yeah, no. Human beings, because it's so crazy. Things change, but they always stay the same. My dad was telling a story. Sorry, guys. My dad was telling a story of his dad. My God, basically 100 years ago. Nothing's changed. It was a story of his dad as a kid. It's the exact same crap my boys are doing. 100 years. Never met the dude. Same thing. Exact same thing. Technology, environment's changing. That was a farm kid. Give you an idea. His dad quit farming to go fight in the Civil War because farming was that awful. He wanted to go get shot at in the Civil War because farming was that bad. So let that sink in for a second. He'd rather get shot at because he made more money and it was less work than on the farm. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, that was my no, that was his granddad. So it was my great granddad. That was it. My great granddad. Yeah, that was a piece of work from what I hear. But yeah, my great granddad went to go fight in the Civil War because it was less work than farming in Northern Ohio. All right. Okay, so endpoints. We need to handle this because we need to find out the beginning point is not that bad. We were gonna do this. Print I. So we have 0 and 1. So now we need to augment this just a little bit so we can see how we want to handle this. All right. So we're going through this and we need to see I and X. Now what my problem is I'm going to show you here in a second. S 0 D, we're gonna do the exact same thing. 1. Now I need to look at my next one. So check this out. Less than. So bear with me. Hang tight. Sorry, it's starting to storm here. So what is this? So 10. So let's go back for a second. So if I also want, but now here's my problem. If I'm at my endpoint, if I'm at 1, if I'm at index 1, so here's what we got to do. We're going to do this. I want to show you. All right. Let's comment this out because I want this all to be seen and I want it to be compact. So bear with me. I'm going to bring this home in just a second. So I'm working on showing you guys the index here. So all right, index 0 here. So now, check this out, because I'm going to have a problem here. And if we can design this around this now, we don't have this problem later. So if it's less than, so watch, then S I plus 1. I'm going to get this a little bit, and then it's going to fail. Anybody got an idea as why it's going to fail? Because, let's go through here. How do I want to explain this? So S0, S1, S2. So this is my end. This is my bookend. This is my last one. So if I'm looking at index 2, it throws up. So you can slice past the endpoint. You cannot index past the endpoint. Super, super important. Super, super important. So that's the caveat. So we typically sometimes have to guard against the beginning one, and we have to treat it differently sometimes. If you're indexing, you always have to treat the end one differently. Because, so I hinted that the caveat was on the last character. You're always adding. Let's turn this one off, and let's turn this one on, so we can get a couple more and see what happens, so we can kind of visualize. So bear with me, and then I'll explain exactly what I'm doing. So if I less than len s, all right, I got to do this, and then I'll show you what in the world I'm doing. Whoa. Else. All right, let's see if I did this right. All right, everybody follow me what I just did. So this can be really weird. So what I'm handling here, indexing and length. There's this thing with indexing and length that you have to keep in mind. So right now S is XLIX, which happens to be 49. So it's 50 minus 10 plus 10 minus 1. Or another way to say this, actually, I am super excited. The lady that's hiring just accepted my woohoo. So now I'm going to bother her on LinkedIn. Dax, do you get hassled on LinkedIn? Because back when I was at Walmart, I used to get emails. Hey, since you're in charge of this, can you send me to da-da-da-da-da-da? And I was like, this must work all the time, because I'm like, I am a nobody at Walmart. I promise you. All right. So len of x and indexing. So here we are. So now this is where we have to control our last object. So if I want that x, I can do -1, but I'm not. I'm indexing through. I'm iterating through with indices. That happens to be index 3. So And I know this can be weird, and you're here because you're very similar to me, so I'm going to share my challenges. So the next time through, I want this to do this on 3, on the index of 3, right? So if I want the last index, I take the len. If I want to be doing something and then stop at the end, I always do len of my object minus 1. Because whatever, that's my last index. And that I've committed that to memory. So now it's rote memory, and I don't even think about it. If I want my last index number, it is index of my sequence, len of my sequence minus 1. And that's my last indices. And it's just become so rote. So now this statement is basically every time before, all of them before the last one. So since I didn't do less than or equal to, because I will throw up, because on my last indices, so basically, if this is in our example, it's this one right here, which has 4, or length of 4, last index 3. I'm here. So I want to do this, and I want to compare the last one, except on my last indices. So this is 2, because this is 3. Sorry. Cancel all that. I get off the 2, or the I's. This is 4. Now this is 3. So the last time through, since it has to be less than, I didn't say less than or equal to, this is now 2. It will operate from 0 to 2. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. I want this big bucket of stuff to happen from 0 up until the last one. And then the last one, I'm just going to print it out or add it, because I just gave you the big old hint of every time the last Roman numeral is always added. Okay, so now that's a pretty big lift. So now let's bring total down here. All right. So now, let's see. Haven't checked coloring in a while. Is everybody hanging in there with me on all these? Oh, because I also have to change out an oven today. Yeah, today's going to be a fun day. Our oven went out a while ago. We got another oven, and it's been sitting in the garage. And then finally the control panel on the oven that's in the house installed is going out, so it just beeps all the time. So yeah, fun stuff. All right. Let's see. So this is fine. So basically, if we look at it, I'm just going to take total, increment by S. Now, this is here. So now we need to wrap this in our, just like so. Does everybody remember that? So if I copy this, why won't this let me copy? There we go. Now, because this is a string, and that string is present in our dictionary, so I get a value. So let's just track this completely through, because this is completely legal. And as we can see, it's an int, and Python goes, hey, you know what you're talking about. I'm going to reward you by giving you the information I have associated with this. So D with this key, and this key is through this indices to this string, and I return a value from that key value pair, and I'm adding that to total. So now that is the last character. You're always going to add the last character. Now let's build in what we need to do. So all of this is the next one. So what do we do here? So so I want you to think about it. We're breaking up our buckets. The last one, come on. Last one is always added. So then now all of these are going to do this. So we're really, really close. We're really, really close. We're printing out this. I want you to look really close. Let's put this down here. 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Did I copy that? I did. Let me give you a visual example. Let's bring this down here. All right. So X, XL, then L, LX. Let's start over. Let me get this here. Let me get the highlight off. Come on. All right. X, XL, boom. Don't know why that's highlighting that. Then L, LI, IX, and then X. So we need to look at the next character. So basically, this X, is it going to be a negative X or a positive X? Well, it needs to look at the next value. Wait a sec. Okay. So if it is smaller, here we go. If D, you following where I'm doing this? If D, what? Is less than D plus 1, then total we're going to decrement this. Everybody get that? Missing this. I know that can be very, very weird. Now, we're also going to speed this up. Else, and this is what threw me for a loop when I started really looking at this. So we're going to comment this out. So right now we are testing 49. So let's see. Whoops. 49. Let's see if we get 49 out. And I did not print total. And boom. 49. All right. Now, I want to show you this. Are these the exact same? They are, right? So if we really look at this, we're gonna we're going to keep all of our code, and so we can go back and see if we're improving. Let's get this down here. And we need to borrow this. Never get rid of your code because it can help you later. So, alright. Yeah. So we're doing 49. Oops. Alright. I just got -1. But I just ran... Alright, let's see the difference. Alright, what did I run and get the difference? What's the difference between these two? Total. Let's run this again, make sure I don't have any shadow. No, I got a -1. Alright. What's the difference here? Copy. Paste. $49. Alright. Don't know what I missed. But now I want to really draw your attention to this right here. And this is where optimization gets really interesting. These, well, one, let's test our... We have that someplace else so we can make sure we don't have any shadow code. All right. Look really, 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 really close at this. So I'm having duplicate. So it's very similar to, akin to this. If I was having multiple decisions, I'd be wasting some time complexity. So I can literally do this. We're going to test it, make sure I right. All right. I did clean this up before. What did I do? Let me see what I did different. In my example. Sorry, I leaned away from my mic. Because, yeah, I was able to... I cleaned this up, and I got this, and I got it much faster. So on the coding platform, I could have sworn I sped this up and got it down. Because I will show you, oh my gosh, one of the things that I had done is, it was so embarrassing. I had this be a string, and I was going through, and I was changing it as I was going. So I was adding, well, here, I will show you. I solved it at the beginning, and then I was defaulting. I thought it was very important to worry about the character after. So this is driving home the point of order of operations. So this is when I changed my mind from, because I was like, oh, do this. And I was like, but if it's negative, you can put this after. And then I was like, okay, well, then I can just clean this up, and I do it like this. And I was still going, then this or this. And I had so many different decisions. And then it finally dawned on me, with being legal Python, I can put the arithmetic in front of it. Or that was when I had it as text, and then it dawned on me that I can start with 0 and -5. So what's an example? Would you ever minus? You would never minus. Actually, yeah, you would. It would be, I believe it'd be 45. I think 45 is, in Roman numerals, would be what? L would be V, VL. Let me check. Did I check that one? Hang on. 45 in Roman numerals. Let me see. No. This is 45. X. Interesting. So here's what 45 in Roman numerals is. So you do the places. But they have 50 and 5. All right. So we need to, I really want to get this. I mean, this is right. So let's test this. 1994. Here was one of the other ones that was tricky. And let's make sure. And I really thought I solved. So here's 58. So it's working. I'm really frustrated that, yep, XL5, XLV. I just merged the two. XLV is 45. So I know there was a way. Let's experiment with this. Is it get rid of this one? That's one. No. Well, that is very frustrating because I was really trying to improve my time complexity. I wonder if... Oh. Yeah, we can improve this. This is a perfect example of flipping these around. So your if it's greater than... Yeah, let's do this and speed up this time complexity, and I'll show you. Yep. And because if it's not this, because now that I can see these and that these are the exact same, it's driving me bananas. But all right, we need to make sure, we need to get this to work. That's vital. More important than time complexity. Oops. It's got to be accurate first. That's what you'll get any boss to tell you. It's got to be accurate, then improve the speed, because accuracy is the utmost importance. And I can tell you that from any large company. You can always improve. It's got to be right, and you have to have that's the human piece. Everybody has to have faith in the system. You can always drive out cost. You can always make things cheaper and better, but it's got to be safe and it's got to be accurate. People will pay a little bit more for both of those. But when you're faster and not accurate, you're gonna start to run into a lot of problems. All right, so if we wanted to optimize this, we would flip this around. And the way we would do this, how would we do this? Because now this is driving me bananas. How much time are we in? Hour and a half. Everybody doing well? We still got some folks hanging in there with us. So let's just go through these. Let's print out. Let's turn this. Let's add in SI. So I like to do this for debugging to know, do we want to do, because I was actually doing this by string. Let's do that. Let's have some fun with this. So check this out. So we'll do this as a string, then D, then S, Then I close this out, close that out, and let's add this. All right, so no. Print, because I like to do this and see where I may be having an issue. Because if it's coming out on the screen, all right, what do I, and I don't have my close print, don't have my close print, come on, don't have my close print, and no close print. Everything legal, everybody's saying we're good, all right. And then you can even add path 1. Check this out. So then you can even do 1, 2, 3. Started doing this too, so you can see where it's actually coming out of. So I'm getting the correct answer. So the first 1,000 is there. So why? All right. Let's see. LF the reverse, or nope, that would fail. Sorry, what I was doing is I was thinking around. I was like, okay, so if we did LF or index or the last index, but we're getting, so the second one, that's here, because what I want to do is I want to get this in one case, because I think I saw this output, because right now I'm having less than one. I want to get this in one decision. That's what I'm aiming for, because if I can do that, I can cut down on some time complexity. I'll use a little bit more memory. Never really understood that, but it is like 30% faster. So the longer the string, you really start to really start to save some cost. Here, let's check and make sure that 9 is working, because as I was doing this last time, I threw out, yeah, okay, so I got negative, bingo, -1, so I'm here. So I wonder, no, it's going to drive me nuts, but I'll go back and look at my notes. All right, is there anything anybody wants to talk about? Because we got hour and 39 minutes. We have a small little group. We have our little awesome cohort, and you guys come and hang out with me. I appreciate it. And don't know if I'm going to be able to do any prep for tomorrow, because I have no idea how long the not the washing machine, the oven, how long the oven is going to take. So I do have one. I got to clean up the other one. Hopefully there's stuff not living in it, because I think it's been in the garage about a year. All right. Anything? Does everybody understand how I went about building this? It works. It's not the fastest. It can improve. But also be very, very careful about going and changing something, But does everybody get this, that it's completely legal to decrement before you have anything? So I'm taking 0, so I'm basically doing this. So that's how I get to -1, and then I add 10. So when I have this right here, I really have 0 minus 1 plus 10. But technically what it is in Roman numerals is really -10 minus 1. But from a programming standpoint, from an algorithmic design, is we go and we do this. But really in the background, it's this, because we have to. That's the dirty little secret about programming, is you have to have a start point. So if you've never seen my one problem about finding the smallest or the largest number in a list, have we talked about negative and positive infinities? That's another programming trick. So you need to know about it to find the smallest, or Venki, it is solvable by module or either floor division. What is Venki? Finding the smallest number? It is solvable by modulus or either floor division. Sorry, I'm lost. I may have asked a question that I've already forgotten that I asked. Is that defining the largest or the smallest number in a list? So there is a negative, infinity, and positive. I meant the Roman numerals. Oh, it is solvable. Give me a little bit more. Wish there was a way to do. I wonder if we should try a stream. Can we stream a chat or stream a Netflix? Not Netflix. Discord? Can we stream a video call, a voice call? Because there's voice channels, mod channels, admin channels. I don't know. My kids have always said, have always warned me not to get into a video call or a voice call with on Discord. All right. Let's see. You can stream. I can stream on Discord. Okay. May think about that, because that is that may be the easier way for us to all chat. But the only problem is people who, because I have almost 13,000 on YouTube. Let me look for a second, because the numbers, they don't mesh. Yeah, I'm at 12,932 on YouTube and only 300 plus on Discord. So I go back and forth, because what if I streamed on Discord, we'd probably have one or two where at least I get 50 people to come through here. Now, granted, they don't all stay, but at least come for a little bit. So right now I've had 50 people who've come by, and on average they've been here 4.5 minutes. So that's pretty cool. But if we only streamed on Discord, we might get 2, and who knows how long they'd stay. So I don't know. I go back and forth about this. But anything... I have a cricket outside my window and it's driving me nuts. I kind of want to solve this really badly, because I know I had this solved, and I guess I went back and either when I restarted my computer, I did not save the most optimized. I should show you. Yeah, I started out with, so as I was going through this and I was designing this, at first I was like, oh, okay, because I didn't really understand the rules of Roman numerals. So I was like, I need to have a total, and then I need to have a subtotal. But it okay, here's Nico. He might have some insight. Discord isn't for streaming. It has a stream option to play with friends. But if you use it, then you'd probably get 0 viewers and no one. Yeah, you can stream with friends. Okay, yeah. I wondered, because, yeah, you have to be on the server. So I guess I could... Oh, wait a minute. So if I had it and I streamed and I recorded, then I could still push it through. Sorry, thinking out loud. So if I grab... Stay with Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, I've heard people have had some success with Twitch, but I've also heard that there's more hoops to jump through, and I don't need to spend time learning anything new right now. I have enough to solve, so we will go from there. Let's see. I really want to optimize this, but all right. Let's see. This is... Did everybody see how I solved the capitalization? That was on a coding challenge platform. That was easy. That didn't take me very long. I went back and tracked my notes. This one took me a minute because I started to over-engineer it too much. But right now, the time complexity is not perfect, and we've shown. Let's undo this one. We've shown that I'm hitting all of the buckets because I'm hitting the second one, third one. As you can see, the last one is always added. Just as always added because it will be the lowest. It will be, and that might be why it wasn't 45. So the 10. So we do the digits. That was it. So you do the places. So if it's 45, I need to have the tens place. So L. So XL. Let's keep it XL and then 5. All right. Okay, I can see that. So if I wanted 483, that would be C. We're gonna try this. See if I get this. CD. So that's 400. Then 80. It would be L XXX. And then 3 I. Let's try that. Would I say that with 483? Okay. 483 in Roman numerals. Let's see. CDL XXX 333. Let's see if our algorithm catches this one. Should. And I'm sure that the coding platform tried all of these, but let's just try 483. Okay, cool. It's just not optimized because we're duplicating. Here. All addition except for the first one, which is subtraction. We're decrementing. All right. A little bit redundant here. Any questions before we drop? Because we're at an hour and 50 minutes. Anything pertinent? Let's see. Live comment. Oh, that was last night. Yeah, YouTube did an upgrade. Oops, okay. No, I do not have an interview tomorrow. Going to try to reach out. Doing this to be prepared because I have to over-prepare. So I have everything I do is slow, so I have to make up for it with effort. So I want to be as prepared for an interview if it happens in the next 2 weeks. So, no, I just need to talk this person into wanting to even talk to me. So, I just, it's not friending on LinkedIn, connected. I just connected with them. They posted a job either last night or the night before. And then I applied. Let's see. You see what I sent on Discord? Was that last night that you sent, Nico? Yes, I did. That was funny. That was very funny. I think I saw that when I got up today. So no interview. I appreciate it, Dax. Yeah. And everything I'm seeing on LinkedIn and hearing is that it is ugly out there because there is a lot of people looking for jobs. So I'm towards the bottom of the pool. So I need to be. I actually read a post this morning about has a lot to do with luck. Well, I'm of the school because Dax, we're probably close to the same age, if not me being a little bit older. Luck is being prepared when the right opportunity arises. So I'm trying to be as prepared as possible if I get lucky. So and then also it's an adage. I mean, I've heard my dad say it. I've heard other business people say it. Then it goes back to I've heard Thomas Jefferson said it. So that means he was quoting somebody else. The harder I work. Really? Okay. You know I'm 47? I think I'm 47. Am I 48? I will be 48. You're a bit older? Okay. All right. Well, props. Because I do worry about that I may be that because you can surmise when I've with my work career. I know you said that at some point. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, cool. That's awesome. That is very, because I have heard, because I actually from Walmart there was some law they actually had to give me the information of the ages and all of the positions of people that they asked to relocate and who they didn't, who did it, and it was very interesting. So they had to show that they weren't discriminating against age. I thought that was very interesting. Since I was over 40, I got the information. Nobody else on my team got it. So being 47, because they had to show that they weren't discriminating against me being old, which I thought was extremely interesting. Have you ever seen the new slang and wonder what it means? Yeah, but most of the time, I mean, I got kids, so the context, I blow them away because, I mean, all slang is shortened words that have devolved. So the root words, I mean, if you can go back through history, I mean, they all go back to Latin and Greek. So all slang is derived, has derision from other words. So, I mean, slang in the U.S. is very interesting because it has influences from every single language. I mean, the 30s and 40s, last century, and then like. My kids have some terms that I'm not going to repeat here, and they try to explain it, but I know exactly the iteration of how it came from. But the new slang is so weird. I understand what it means. Yeah, I mean there are terms that I do not get. I don't know where they came from. But like the terms for not lying doesn't make any sense. But what's also very funny to me is now my kids are getting older, and they don't think they're aging out of coolness and current current pop culture, but I'm like, hang in there. You're aging out of it, because now I'd say the influencers, because in the United States we have the tweens seem to be very, very influential, and those are preteen and early teen young ladies. They seem to command a lot of influence because they tend to get their way a lot in the U.S. for a variety of reasons. Being the only girl in the family, or being the youngest, and having the influence, and the dad being a lot more lenient on the daughters. So yeah, it's interesting. All right, so that's me rambling on quite a bit. But yeah, Dax, that's kind of cool. And yeah, I'll try to take into the interview. Okay, hang on. What's Nico got? It always goes like this. There's a new slang, but then after a few years it becomes cringe. Yep. And then something else. Yep. Nope, I got you. Appears. Absolutely. I mean, I think back, I was around when My Bad came to be, and I was perplexed. And I was like, what? And then I'm shocked that still is prevalent. I remember hearing it late middle school, early high school, and I was like, what in the world? And then like even the coaches were like, what are you talking about? That's stupid. So all right, okay, I think I'm running off some folks now, but hope everybody has a good day. Anything pressing, PB adding some jam, we can start new slang. PB, okay. Oh, Dax, I love it. Python bait. PB. Oh, no, I make my daughter cringe all the time, because I will come in and quote some quote slang and string it all together. And cause she's 16, so a junior in high school. That is the jam. Dax, that is good. That that is very good, Dax. I love it. That's funny. That is the jam. Adding jam is making it better. Yep. Okay. All right. Anything else pressing, and we will go from there. Oh, you guys made me laugh today. That is cool. YOLO, you only live once. Yep. Yep. What? FOMO. Yeah, but those are, I mean, I'm talking about like Riz, that has no, I mean, that's just, what, an acronym? But what, Riz and No Cap, I remember. And, those didn't seem to have any derision, from anything else. But then the other terms, the ones that really made, what, fear of being, is that alone? Phobo? What is it? My daughter and wife love BOGO. Buy one, get one. Phobo. I think that's, what? Dax, is that fear of, oh, okay. Got it. Fear of becoming obsolete. Yeah. I get that. New tech. I completely get that. Absolutely. All right. Well, I think we've covered a lot of material today, and I am going to go back and I'm going to figure out the optimization on this, and I'll share this tomorrow, and we'll probably do, depending on how long you keep wanting to call it a dishwasher, the oven takes. I may or may not. Do you know? Yes. Yep. Well, do you know? Yes, Nico. Do you know where the origination? Because it actually comes from, a guy reacting to an attractive lady. That it was god damn, and then got, and then got. So I actually heard those evolve through my lifetime. Yes, I know what it means. So, but it's because it was already around. And then, see, I grew up in a football locker room in South Florida, so I had a lot of different influences in my life. So I've been around the block a lot. Don't let my appearance fool you of my experiences and my education. So I've seen a lot in my lifetime. Naive about some things, I understand that, but been around, seen a lot. I can fit in anywhere. All right. Okay, Nico, I love it. Anything else? Super, and yeah, if my kids were here and they would have heard that, they would have all passed out and died. So anything, most people actually don't know what, yeah, that skibbity. Yep. But most people think it, skibby. Now you sound. So, Nico, I think I have the reason the series is called Skibbity Toilet is because it translated as a bad toilet. Now, Skibbity, my oldest, he's got an online presence, and he's got some online friends. Yep. And yeah, he I've heard that one. That's just more that I think is a, if I recall and perfectly thing, it's basically, can I make this into something? And I think that is. So yeah, I think for a 47-year-old, I'm quite attuned to what's going on, but that's only because I was at the middle school and the elementary school within the past decade with younger kids. So I was more, now a teacher. They are very, very, very attuned to, they see the trends changing all the time, and God bless teachers in the schools in the U.S., because that is one job that I don't think I could ever do. I would go and I would help, and then I would get to leave, and it was interesting. You if you make it through, what's that? Just start saying these slang words like, bro, that's so skibbity. Yeah, that is. I think all of my kids would leave. My kids would move out. They would not be here anymore. I think my wife may have said all of those things. She may not have put in skibbity, but I think she came home one day and was wound up and was just saying all the just compressing it all together. But all right, anything. Thank you, Nico. Anything else pressing that anybody needs help with and would like an answer to? So we've had a lot of people jumping in and out. Thank you. If you've happened to look down underneath your video and you've not hit the like button, go ahead and do that for me. I appreciate it. I think we hit 6 today total concurrent views. We got 57, about 4.5 minutes of watch time. So I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are getting something out of this, of how to go about solving problems. Because if you want to become somebody who is good at articulating and communicating and being able to have a career doing any of these things, the deeper you dive into this and the more granular you get and you just submerge yourself in this, you'll be able to explain it. And that's so. Dex, I don't know if you were here when I kind of had this epiphany. It hit me the other day about what, why they want, at an hour it says the stream is 60 minutes long, but at 2 hours it says it's 2 hours. Yeah, I don't know that. I think because it rolls over because it's 60 minutes, so that's the way they program that. So, but Dex, I think you'll appreciate this. So everybody wants somebody that communicates very, very well. I don't know you. can I know where to go? Hang on. From what time is it here? It is. It's about 9 in the morning here. So, all right. But back to about communication. So everybody posts in their jobs that they want somebody who can communicate well. And I had an epiphany of what that actually means. So I can sit in meetings and explain exactly why my tools do the way that work the way that they do, and answer questions and ask questions, because it's 6:18. Oh wow, you are on the other side. So that's very cool. That is awesome. So good evening to you. I don't know. Are those characters just upside down? That is kind of cool. At first I thought it was different, but that's kind of cool. All right. But back to communication. So they say they want a good communicator. That's the secondary effect. But what they really want is somebody who just eats up and submerges themselves in the details and understands it. I think people want to hire those that make them look good. Oh yeah, I 100% agree with that. So that's why I'm going to be reaching out to this lady today and trying to sell my case, that to just get her to talk to me. So I'm going to try to. I got a few little phrases of attributes that it's about 2 sentences. You want a job where their goals. Yep, I'll also agree. Well, if India. And I love Python, but I'm a beginner level. That's fine. We're glad you're here. This is a beginner community. We support all beginners, all good questions. But back to the communication. What they really want is somebody who submerses themselves in the material. And then if you submerge yourself in the material, you'll be able to explain it well. So if you can explain it well, you're going to articulate it well. And if you understand it well, when somebody asks you a question, you're going to be able to you're going to answer the question and then ask a leading question to get them. Well, what did you mean by increment? What did you mean by we need to account for? What did you mean by, because this is what we have. And now here's our problem. So here's a perfect example. This is what we have. Here's our problem. So now this would be you sitting down with the person, and let's say you didn't know anything about Roman numerals, but you knew everything you understood this. And you'd be like, all right, so walk me through the decisions of how these are made. So why is this 58? And then they're going to begin to try to explain it because they have it in their head. And you're going to ask them a leading question. Okay. And then you're going to come up with edge cases. All right, Nico, see you later. Appreciate you being here. And then you're going to become better at asking questions. Maximize or minimize you. And then you ask better leading questions, and you think of more edge cases, and then you're able to communicate to your end user, because Dax can speak to that a lot. The end user has a vision in their head, but sometimes they're good at getting it out of their head, and sometimes they're not. But they need you, the quote-unquote you, to be good at communicating. How well do you understand this to solve this? That's all communication is. So the more you understand this, and then maybe the techniques at hand using whatever tools you have at hand, you are then a good communicator. So don't get hung up on becoming a better communicator. Get hung up on process, because people are going to be like, how do I become a better communicator? And I promise the simple solve is understanding your tools. What do you have? become better at edge cases. Become better at edge cases, coming up with something that's going to go wrong. Hey, what happens if this happens? What should we do? Oh, I never thought about that. Bingo. And you become better communicator. And that's it. Become a better problem solver and become more submerged in your information. And you will secondarily become a better communicator. All right. So that is that. That is all I have for today. Anything pressing, kind of going once, going twice, going 3 times. If you've not joined the Discord server, please go ahead and do that. That'll be awesome to have you here. Hope everybody has a good rest of their day and evening. Don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow, but we will come up with something cool. We may do a live coding challenge. These were a little bit stale. Yep, you have a good day too, Dax. And if I don't talk to you tomorrow, hope everybody has a great tomorrow, and we will catch up next time. Thank you, everybody.